Alicia Vikander.
Yes, thank you for being here tonight. I'm so happy to be in New York and to present this film that we worked on. I worked on for many years and I had the chance so much for this film. So I don't want to spare too much. I think it's a movie that is important today for many reasons. So I think it will make something like emotional to you whether you decide that you want or don't want to have kids. And I would like to thank the producers, Number 9, Shivans, Digital, to make this film like our life. So yeah, thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Panel guests, first please welcome the director, Fleur Fortuné. Please welcome Elizabeth Olsen. Please welcome Alicia So glad to be here with you tonight. Congratulations again on this extraordinary movie that really took me on a unique journey that I haven't been on before. I would love to start with you, Fleur. Please tell us a little bit about your inspiration to tell this story. I know you're working off of
The script. I was working on the sci-fi picture that I was writing, and at the same time I was struggling to have kids. I was doing IVF for years, doing adoption meetings. So when I read the script, I could totally feel like Mia and Orion, like this couple, because I was feeling like I was going to do absurd tests, and I don't know, so like the way the world is evolving, like politically, I think it made a lot of sense to me to like a test that doesn't make any sense.
And we were just talking a little bit inside. You have told me that for the character Mia, you actually had Elizabeth in mind for a while. So tell us a little bit about that before I bring Elizabeth and Alicia in.
I think that Lizzie has that connection that is like so.
There were different ages, and I wanted to kind of see if there were. So I started to put in different numbers and different scenes to see if I could, find physicality that kind of, could relate different ages, and then therefore maybe put them through slightly different tests. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty terrifying to be honest at the first day. I think apart from the fact that Lizzie was already attached when I read it, and I thought that would be, I'm such an admirer of her work, and I thought that could also be something quite interesting in that specific relationship. And that was something we discussed quite early on with Fleur as well, about how, yes, you could have read this.
It was really the film as a whole that I was most excited about. I really love watching films where the rules of the world are slightly separate from ours.
Mm-hmm.
I think it allows for a lot of creative ways to play as an actor. And so within this film, it wasn't just the rules of the world, there's also the rules within this dynamic and the situation that these three characters are in with one another, that I found it to be a really exciting opportunity to find a playful tone while also suggesting huge themes in our world without messaging to people what they should take away from it, but more just thinking about these much larger ideas, whether it's our use using up resources, people trying to live her natural connection to nature, obviously with her work and the relationship she has with the water. I don't personally have a great relationship with water, but now I do. Because of course just swim in open water and it's terrifying.
You were really impressive.
I was hardly
Good swimmer. I was so amazed.
It was such crazy currents that I was just swimming my little butt off and going nowhere because the current was so strong. Anyway, I'm derailing because I'm very circuitous and I answer questions. But that's why I wanted to do this project. And Fleur's work as a filmmaker for music videos, I found so visually creative, such interesting composition and light and design and faces that she would find. And I was just really excited to see what she was going to do with this song.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think apart from the fact that Lizzie was already attached when I read it, and I thought that would be, I'm such an admirer of her work, and I thought that could also be something quite interesting in that specific relationship. And that was something we discussed quite early on with Fleur as well, about how, yes, you could have read the script as her coming in kind of bulldozer, getting this couple through this test. But I felt like deep down that we wanted to develop this connection and how these women actually, like on a certain level, going through something very similar. And so that was quite at the heart of something I really cared for and wanted the character to come out.
Wonderful, thank you. And Elizabeth, I actually want to ask you, because obviously everything Reaching It Us is a
Help that final scene have a bit more of a dynamic, more consequence because of the relationship we watched with Bill.
And it was also like the last scene. It was the
Last
last
scene,
scene, which
yeah.
was very helpful.
Yeah.
Did you go in chronological order generally to kind of keep up with the headspace? Or
No, we did exteriors and interiors.
Exteriors in a different country.
No, I was so amazed at how they could deal with that, because we did the first generic and we did all the exterior, so it means like also entering the house, and then we had the following I mean everything. It is like the fire scene also before like all the beginning of the film. So yeah, it was I would feel like you feel it.
And I do want to follow that up with a very design-specific question, because I just really absolutely adore the production design.
We then could go on to these stages with the life of what that was. And I actually am so grateful that we did it, because if we hadn't done it in reverse, I feel like I would have thought, oh shoot, like I would have had a different
It was so
way of
intense.
holding my
It was
body
very-
in space. Yeah, he really had to survive. And the other thing that was so miraculous with Jan's design is that greenhouse was absolutely real. Every single thing in it was living. The water system was functioning. The whole thing was fully practical, and we set it on fire. And only in an independent film do you make something so real and detailed, and then you just set it on fire. It was so intense for us all, I think, to watch it in real. We didn't know how big the fire was going to be, and we assumed to save some from the glass breaking. And so we stayed as long as we could in the shot before it got. And the other thing that was so miraculous with Jan's design is that greenhouse was absolutely real. Every single thing in it was living. The water system was functioning. The whole thing was fully practical, and we set it on fire. And only in an independent film do you make something so real and detailed, and then you just set it on fire. It was so intense for us all, I think, to watch it in real. We didn't know how big the fire was going to be, and we assumed to save some from the glass breaking. And so we stayed as long as we could in the shot before it got a little too close. But I've never had an experience that felt like you really felt the environment in the way that we were able to and got to, and the allowance that everyone gave us to do that, I felt was really important for all of us.
Thank you. The questions briefly. First, very well-earned compliments to the movie. The first question is about the locations, the specific locations of the shooting where there was, and the second question is about your color palette. That was a world on its own, and how did you come to those different colors?
I think the location, I was looking for a location in the spring. It was a house on the beach, and I knew I didn't want it to be like the Paradise Island. For me, it had to be, a little bit like what is the world after all that happened, after all the wars, after all the pandemic, stuff like that. So it could be, in my mind, it was like maybe it's our future, but it could be also a slightly parallel future. So I wanted it to be raw and welcoming, and also for the thriller element, the fact that there was like a lot of wind.
Was that I started, I had thought these things out. I was nervous to perform them for the first time, but then I started to do it, and then it kind of, it started to feel very natural to me. And I think it's because, I wanted to act it from a place where, I didn't make a caricature. I wanted to make, even though I'm not a 2-year-old, I wanted to, what if I go there? What if I go as far to, really try and be true to this now? And then from there, it's I had things, there was memories of my own childhood, of things that I was that used to really upset me. Or, I remember that was things that I thought or that made me happy. So it was interesting that it kind of, I think, took me back to a core version of myself there somewhere, and that was a big inspiration, actually.